Hi, this is Dave, your host. You're listening to the last podcast where the first shall be last and the last shall be first. If this is your first time listening, welcome. I'm happy that you found us. And if you're returning, welcome back. I hope you continue to find tips, ideas, and value from listening to this podcast. Today, I just want to touch base on something that's really been heavy on my heart and mind. And I've always talked about this in the very beginning. It's about grieving. The funny thing about grieving is you think that, you get a lot of crying out of the way. You go through the various stages of grief. And right when you think you're getting to an okay spot where you can start to function, you'll be driving somewhere and all of a sudden, like a song or a street might remind you of the person that you've lost, and all of a sudden you just break down and you lose it. You have to pull over, get your bearings. Have you ever gone through anything like that? Yeah, it's frustrating sometimes because I went through something like that today. And I was driving, and next thing I know, I thought about my wife in a certain instance and just had to pull over. That's the funny thing about grieving. We will always miss our loved ones, and it's a hard thing to deal with, and some people deal with it in their own way, and everybody deals with grief differently. But I do know that, my wife is in a better place. She's, I'm at that point where I could say, I know she is doing well, and she's looking down on all of us that she left behind. She's not dealing with any more pain, any more poking or prodding or anything of that nature, which is awesome. But the physical part is the part that I miss the most. Her presence, her hair, her smile, her even yelling at me, and just missing her, her thoughtful ways. And, my wife was a strong woman, and I mean, very strong. She was actually the glue of this family. She was the nucleus, I would say. But nevertheless, she was very, very thoughtful, and she loved helping others, and she always gave her opinion, her advice. She was opinionated as well, and she was a great cook. Most of all, she loved to cook, and she loved cooking for her family. So those things I miss. But you know what really gets to me is the little things. The little things that I'm constantly helping her with, the little things that I constantly do for her or she would do for me. And, we take those little things in life for granted. And, it doesn't mean that much to people at that time that, while they're doing it or whatever the case may be. But I noticed that for the family that we do have left, it's so important to, when you're dealing with loss, it's so important to reflect on what you have left and to try to do better, to try to become better, to try to do better than you have with the people that you've already lost. For me, I've lost most of my family, and I'm pretty much the last one left, except for two brothers. And if I had to tell you the truth, I was probably the worst brother out of them all. I barely looked in on my brothers. I barely did anything with my brothers, but nevertheless, they're my brothers. They're in my family. So, but we were never close, and I'm kind of saddened by that. But hopefully, I'll probably be able to change that in the future. And the same with all my kids. I wasn't close with them that much, and I'm bearing my soul here, just so you know. I'm actually bearing my soul because I'm not pulling any punches. It's true. When it comes to relationships, I probably was your worst. I was always, I love having a relationship, and the only thing I really love is knowing that they're there. And, whenever I want to talk with them, hold them, or, love on them, and vice versa. But I'm also a hermit. I'm one of those people who believe in constantly reading, constantly being on the internet, and you become an introvert, and you decide that okay, well, I don't really need anybody, but in reality, it's a false illusion. You do, because when a person is gone, you realize just how much you miss having them around. And that is pretty much me. I miss a lot of my family members, and I wish they were around. And I only wish that I could tell them this. And I got to tell one of my family members, one of my aunts, that I really loved her and I missed her company. And it was being pig-headed and stubbornness that kept me away from her. And I only wish that I would have been there sooner with her, but unfortunately, the time that I told her that, I didn't get much time with her because she soon passed away as well. So you talk about losing all your family members, and then the last person was your wife. You lose her, and then you downsize, and you get to an apartment, and you realize there's silence. Deafening silence. And that silence can sometimes drive you crazy. You could turn the TV on, you could turn your music on. None of that seems to help, because it's the voices of the loved ones that are truly missed. It's what our hearts crave. It's what our minds desire. And that is what we truly crave. It's like a hole. There's a void left in you, and it can't be filled. I said to somebody the other day, I've never read the Bible so much in my entire life than I have since my family members became sick and since I've lost everyone. I've gotten closer to God. I've gotten closer and really wanted to feel that void somehow, and fill it with God's loving spirit. And I had to work on that because I don't think there's anything that can fill that void at all, ever. So you might be able to deal with the loss a whole lot better after time. And they say, time heals all. Time, it softens the blow, but it never heals. And that's been my reality. I've lost a ton of family, and time definitely softens the blow. But when the holidays come, when the birthdays come, and when you're sitting there alone and you're contemplating and you're reflecting, and that's when all of it hits you. That's when everything hits you all at once, and you break down. So what are we to do? And that's the only thing you can do, is just go through it. Because they say everything that we deal with in life, it makes us stronger on the other side of an incident, on the other side of adversity. It makes us stronger. Yeah, I understand that. I got that, and I embrace it, because there's nothing else to do but to move forward, but to live on, but to carry their memories with you. And that's what I am doing. I know that, but I'm going to be honest with you. Even though knowing all of that and knowing they're in a better place, my heart still aches. And when I sit here and I reflect, I can't help but to shed a tear. I don't know about you or how you're dealing with your own grief. I can only talk from my own experience, and it's deepening. It's heart-wrenching. It's the type of feeling that you get when you feel that all hope is lost. But guess what? On the other side of that, we know that there is a bright light. We know that there is a better way. We know that in time, that pain that we feel, it will dissipate just a little. Each day that we keep moving forward, each day that we keep going on. And that pain, it softens, but it'll always be a part of our memory. There'll always be a part of our heart. There'll always be a part of our mind, our bodies, our spirit. We'll carry them with us. Well, I really wanted to, as you can see, that was heavy on my heart to share with you today. And if you're going through some type of loss or pain, such as a loss or anything of that nature, just know that it will pass. It will soften, but you will always have the pain. But it won't hurt as much as when that pain first starts to hurt. And if you feel that you have lost all hope, reach out to somebody. Reach out to somebody who understands, who've gone through what you've gone through. Reach out and talk with somebody so you know that you're not alone. So that your experience might be the catalyst to help somebody else through their pain that they're going through right now. So, my name is Dave. You're listening to the last podcast where the first shall be last and the last shall be first. I hope you have a blessed day. Until tomorrow, take care. Bye-bye.